What you're looking at right here is a live shot of the Senate floor where they are holding a marathon voting session. It's been going on for hours. It's nerdily called a vote-a-rama. It's all for the purposes of trying to jam through Donald Trump's big, ugly bill. And we're watching it very closely. We have reporters on the ground. We have reporters on the Hill. We have sources everywhere. And we will bring you any updates as it develops in any way at all. But while we wait for that, I want to start with some important context for what we are watching play out in Congress tonight. And that is this. Donald Trump's big, ugly bill is absolutely screwing over Donald Trump's own voters. It is also screwing over every elected Republican who represents them. They all know this. I mean, just look at the latest Fox News polling on this bill. Americans, as a whole, disapprove of the big, ugly bill by a 21-point margin. No surprise. It's a terrible, terrible bill. Donald Trump doesn't really care about that. He probably somehow doesn't care about that number, which is crazy, but think about who we're dealing with. But he does care about his base. And his base also hates this bill. White men without college degrees. I mean, a key part of Trump's coalition that he won by 40 points just last November. How much did we talk about? White men without college degrees. That group opposes this bill by a 10-point margin. Rural white voters oppose this bill by an 11-point margin. Those are not the kinds of numbers you want to see around your signature piece of legislation with your hardcore base if you're the president of the United States. One of the big reasons this bill polls so badly with those key Trump demographic groups is the same reason everyone else hates it. The deep cuts to Medicaid that Republicans are trying to jam through the Senate and the House. And those cuts are set to disproportionately screw over Trump's own voters. Here's how one analysis from the Washington Post summed it up quite well, I would say. In counties where more than 1/4 of the population is on Medicaid, Trump gained 17 percentage points on average over the party's 2012 performance. 17 points. More than double his average gain in counties with low Medicaid enrollment rates. In other words, those Medicaid cuts will be felt the most in the places that were most crucial to Trump's 2 election victories. And Republicans know how unpopular those cuts are with their own voters. I mean, over the weekend, Donald Trump's own pollster, his own pollster, urged Senate Republicans to scale back these cuts, saying, quote, "The working class Americans who gave President Trump his overwhelming victory, as well as majorities in the House and Senate, deserve nothing less." That's Trump's own pollster. Senate Republicans, for their part, also seem to know that these cuts are going to hurt their voters. Former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell reportedly told members of his caucus, quote, "I know a lot of us are hearing from people back home about Medicaid, but they'll get over it." He literally apparently said that, reportedly. See, this bill is so deeply unpopular that Republicans are intentionally ignoring the people they represent and just plowing forward to get it passed. And they're going to have to ignore a lot of other people while they're at it, because the opposition to this bill is broad and it's diverse. I mean, the group I'm about to tell you about is not on a group chat, no way, in any scenario. They're not at a Thanksgiving dinner table. They never would be. But they all absolutely hate this bill. It's opposed by teachers and educators across the country. It's opposed by faith leaders of all denominations, including at least 20 Catholic bishops. It's opposed by major unions around the country. It's opposed by hospital associations in at least 14 states. It's opposed by Trump's former campaign chair and longtime advisor Steve Bannon. It's opposed by Trump's top campaign donor Elon Musk, who just today threatened to fund primary challenges to any Republican who supports the bill. And it's opposed by North Carolina Republican Senator Thom Tillis, who decided this weekend that he'd rather give up his Senate seat than be pressured into voting for this bill.
So what do I tell 663,000 people in 2 years or 3 years when President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid? Now Republicans are about to make a mistake on health care and betraying a promise. It is inescapable that this bill in its current form will betray the very promise that Donald J. Trump made. You supporting the Senate mark will hurt people who are eligible and qualified for Medicaid. I will be withholding my vote. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, all true. Everything you said is true. Before you give him a Profile and Courage Award, this is the guy who saved Pete Hegseth. But my point is this. He saved Pete Hegseth, but he can't he can't push himself to support this bill. Think about that for a second. He's not even the only one. Because even Republican senators who are likely to support this bill can't deny just how much it screws over working people. Just listen to Republican Senator Josh Hawley, who says he is likely to support the bill. And remember that as you listen to what he had to say.
We can't be cutting health care for working people and for poor people in order to constantly give special tax treatment to corporations and other entities.
I mean, we shouldn't be. But again, that is from a Republican senator who says he will support the bill. What you just heard about cutting health care for working people to fund tax breaks for corporations was from a Republican yes vote. Democratic Senator Brian Schatz summed up that moment I just played kind of perfectly when he said, I think what makes this video so compelling is that he's very convincing, but he couldn't convince himself. There you have it. And again, the reason people like Josh Hawley sound so exasperated right now is simple. Trump is forcing them to screw over their own voters. I mean, they're making their own choices, but this is Trump's bill. And for the record, in Hawley's home state of Missouri, tens of thousands of people, if not more, would lose health care as a result of this bill. He and the overwhelming majority of Republicans, though, have made the calculation that supporting Trump is apparently more important than supporting the people they represent. And they are making it very clear that this big unpopular bill is also the core of Trump's agenda.
What do you think this means for President Trump's legacy in the second term?
Well, this is his legacy. This is going to fund his legacy.
President Trump is the best negotiator, the best leader of our party that we've ever had, and this bill is so good and so strong.
This is his campaign promise. It's the fulfillment of all the things that he told the American public that he would do.
So even as core supporters in Congress aren't leaving a doubt about who owns this bill, Trump owns this bill's estimated $3.3 trillion increase in the deficit. He owns the decision to kick an estimated 11.8 million people off their health insurance. Trump owns it all. Right now, we're still waiting to see if this bill will pass and in what form it will pass. Republicans have the upper hand. I mean, they can afford to lose as many as 3 votes in the Senate. In addition to Thom Tillis, Republican Senator Rand Paul has also pledged to vote no on this bill, though for different reasons. Senator Susan Collins says she is leaning toward voting no, though I think we all know if history is any precedent, that means very little at this point in the process. We'll see where she actually votes. Several other Republican senators are holding out for votes on amendments to the bill. And even if it passes the Senate, the bill will still need to face another vote in the House. Tonight, Speaker Johnson is still pleading with Senate Republicans to make changes to the bill to appease his own members, because even as horrible as the House bill is, somehow this Senate bill got worse. And even that guy, Mike Johnson, Trump's buddy, is a little concerned about the Senate bill. But even through all of the Republican infighting, and there has been a lot, one thing has been pretty consistent on the other side. Democrats have made clear they are not going to stop hammering just how much this bill screws regular people, and it does. Here was Senator Raphael Warnock speaking late into the evening last night.
My friends on the other side are giving billionaires and the richest of the rich a tax cut. They are working real hard tonight to help billionaires because God knows they are having a hard time, apparently. Your health care is about to go up. Your hospital might close because they're cutting these clean energy tax cuts. Your utility bills are about to go up. And so I have a question tonight. Who voted for that? This is not just a health care fight. It is that. It is not just a fight for food security, for SNAP. It is that. But in a real sense, it is a fight for our democracy, whose voice gets to be heard in this chamber. That's what this is about.